Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Member Stream. We're back at it. Friday, January 9th. Playoffs start tomorrow. Wildcard weekend. It's kind of nice just not having any leagues to worry about. Just taking it easy. It feels like everything has slowed down. I mean, not really making less content. It just feels like everything's calmer. So that's been nice. I enjoyed putting out the video yesterday. It's doing pretty well. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Austin, what's up, dude? I see you here in the chat. I see Carson and Nico here in the chat as well. But we got some matchups tomorrow. Let's see. What games are tomorrow? Is it it's Panthers, Rams, and Patriots, Chargers. Is that right? That'll be cool. Carter, what's up, dude? I missed you too. So let's see. Oops, that's not right. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up a bracket maker and it's not working well. Austin, can you send me a link? I see you said ESPN. Can you send me a link to the website? I'm just not finding the right one right now. All right, so I've got a startup to go ahead and check out, and then we'll talk. I'll do the playoff stuff at the end just because it's not relevant for Dynasty. It's not what you guys don't pay for this content to hear me talk about what I think is going to happen in the NFL playoffs. I don't have any idea what's going on. Theo, I would go 103 over. Yeah, I would go 103 over Pickens. I think the rankings have it that way. Could be wrong. Yeah, they're back to back. I mean, it's really, really close. But I think I'd go with the pick. I think it's just safer. I think it's possible you get something better with that pick later on, or you get a very, very good rookie wide receiver. You don't have to worry about Pickens holding out for a contract, or if he does somehow go somewhere else. Pickens is interesting. He wasn't obviously he wasn't bad when when Lamb was healthy, but he wasn't going crazy. He averaged 16 point something points per game when Lamb was on the field. So it's not like he was breaking leagues, but still a good wide receiver to have. How horrible is it to start May Hurts? I guess you mean in your startup. I mean, you got the first ranked player at 2, and you got the 18th ranked player at whatever, 211. So, I mean, seems pretty good. I could definitely see. You guys will have to tell me what you think about this. What do we think about moving Hurts behind Caleb and Herbert? I feel like maybe that's a move that we should make. I did hear someone lobbying in the rankings chat to put Herbert actually ahead of Burrow at QB5, which I think is totally a reasonable take. Honestly, I think all those quarterbacks are super close. Burrow, Hurts, Caleb, Herbert, Mahomes, and then Dart would be, the last of that group, just with the least proven at this point. But yeah, I'm curious how you guys would order those guys. I can see the case with Herbert just being that he was averaging a lot early in the season when the line was healthy, and that was even without Rashawn Slater. You get Joe Alt back, you get Slater back, you get whatever upgrades they can make. They have Gadsden and Ladd and Trey Harris and Quentin Johnston. It's a good group. They have Hampton. Justin Herbert is obviously elite. So, like, and they had a high pass rate too. They were third. I mean, I mentioned in the video, they were third in pass rate from weeks 3 to 9. I think it was, similar weeks 1 and 2. I just didn't look at those because Gadsden wasn't playing. But if they're going to be a top 5 pass rate team with a legitimately good offensive line when healthy, Herbert is just as good as Burrow. And yes, I mean that at the peak, the weapons aren't as good, but they have good weapons across the board. And Herbert does rush more than Burrow. I don't know. I'm kind of talking myself into it. I'm kind of talking myself into it, to be honest. Yeah, it's something to think about. I don't know. I'm going to think on it. The thing about Jalen Hurts is, like, I don't think he's going to lose his job, but he just underwhelmed me at times this year. Certainly didn't have an amazing season. I mean, I think Herbert would have outscored him had the line held up. He tied Caleb in scoring this year. I don't know. If they get rid of the tush push, the line hasn't been as good. Seeing some kind of chinks in the armor with Hurts, I don't know. I don't love it. I really don't love what I'm seeing. But he's still a good asset for sure. He's not going anywhere. Goldhorn, what's up, dude? The Rhino will run wild in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, I have a ton of Ramondre Stevenson in playoff best ball, so I really would not be mad about that. How bad is this rookie class going to be, and how should it affect our startup strategy? So as you'll see in the startup that I'm in, or that I just did, I think that any concerns about the class are so priced in right now that I just don't care. I really don't care about it. I'm just taking the picks at this point because there's just no shot these picks are not gaining value over the next few months. So we'll take a look at that. I don't think Spears is going to get the RB1 job. I just don't think that he is. I think he's just one of those players that's like not viewed as that type of running back. I mean, I guess it's possible that a different coach could come in and see it differently. It just seems like he's been pigeonholed into a particular role. Not a bad guy to stash at all because of the pass game work that he can bring you, but I don't know. I struggle to see it with him at this point. I'm not sure if he's a particularly good rusher. And he's been kind of limited to this like change of pace, satellite back type of deal. I could see Tony Pollard moving on, but there are a lot of free agent running backs this year. I mean, Javonte probably gets re-signed. ETN probably gets re-signed. But we do have... who are the running backs? Why can't I think of who the free agents are? Dobbins is a free agent. Algier, Rashad White. Who are some of the other guys? I could see Aaron Jones getting released. David Montgomery. There were some comments that David Montgomery might get released. I think Alvin Kamara could retire based on just from your comment here. I think Stafford's back. I think Henry's back. I think all those guys are back other than Kamara, to be honest with you. Oh, yeah, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, free agents. I think Breece Hall is going to get tagged, personally. I think he'll be back in New York, sadly, but I would love for him to be freed. If Walker and Hall both get trapped in their current teams, then I'm going to crash out. But if we can at least get one of them into one of these better landing spots, get one of them on, I don't know, the Bears or the Texans or what are the other teams? The Commanders. I don't care about JCM anymore. I traded most of my shares. Get them onto the Chiefs, obviously, is a good one. The Titans. There's a lot of teams out there that could use a running back. The Vikings, if they move on from Aaron Jones, that would be a sick spot for anybody to land. But yeah. So let's take a look at this startup here. That's the rankings. Let's take a look at this startup here. This is pretty normal settings. We did do 0.75 tight end premium, so a little bit higher premium than usual. We have 3 wide receiver spots. I can show you right here. We have 3 wide receiver spots. It is a start. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Start 10. So it's pretty simple. 6-point passing touchdown league. My team looks pretty destitute here in terms of players because I took a ton of picks. So just the quick rundown here of the main players that I have. I do have Drake May and Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. That's probably the best part of the team. I have RJ Harvey and Jalen Warren at running back. I have Travis Hunter, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk at wide receiver, Darren Waller. I did not draft a tight end until the 23rd round, and you will see why when I show you the draft board. And then in my flex spots, I'm rocking Keaton Mitchell and Cole Kmet. So very, very strong team. And then we got a really, really good collection of kickers here. It's pretty strong. We got Spencer Rattler here on the bench. Shout out. We got Calvin Ridley here. Don't worry about this guy. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so Kirk Cousins, snatched Kirk Cousins up because he's probably going to start somewhere next year. But yeah, it's pretty bare bones looking roster right now, but I'll show you the picks I have. They're pretty good ones. So what we had in this draft, here's my team. What we had in this draft is just people did not want to draft picks. I mean, it started right from the beginning. I took Drake May at 2, and then Adam Vinatieri is the 101 of kickers. So 2026 101 here at the 211. And then nobody wanted picks again all the way down until we got to the 311, where I took the 102. So I have the 101, I have the 102, and then Mahomes comes to me at the 402. So I was pretty psyched about that start. From that point, I have mixed feelings about the rest of the draft. I think it's fine. I don't really remember what the details were of some of these trades. I wish I had kept the information here. Oh, I traded down. Okay, I traded down from this 511 to this 6.5 because I knew I was going to take Hunter and I knew he wasn't going to go. Or I was fine taking like Irving or Hall if they fell. So I traded all the way back to here, and I think I just moved up from 11-11 to 10-10 maybe. And then maybe got like a late pick. I don't really remember. It was something like that. It was a late round move up. So this right here, this is the 105. So 101, 102, 105. Travis Hunter is my wide receiver 1 and my cornerback 1, obviously. Then I go RJ Harvey. This is where I think I fumbled a bit. I don't like this pick in hindsight, to be honest. So here's what happened, okay? I deviated from my rankings and from my general feelings because the running backs were just going high, and I wanted somebody at running back, which is always a mistake. Like, don't fall into that trap of thinking you just need to draft a running back because other people are doing it. You can always figure that stuff out later. But I was looking at this board and just seeing how the market was shaping up. It just felt like people were taking running backs higher. Like we had McCaffrey went in round 4. Barkley went in round 4. We had Chase Brown go here in round 6 before Travis Hunter. We had Judkins off the board. At the time I took Harvey, it was like Scadaboo, Jacobs, Kyron, Javante was the range. So the trade to get up here to 7-3 was pretty cheap from where I was at 7-11. But passing on Zay Flowers did, I think, age poorly. I don't think it was a good call. And I'm upset because I was sitting here at 8-2 and I was trying to get up to get Zay Flowers, like move up a couple spots because I knew this guy was going to take him. And I just couldn't do it. So in hindsight, I wish I had traded up from the 8-2 to get Harvey and then gotten Flowers back here. But regardless, don't get Flowers, unfortunately. I wish that I had picked him up over Harvey. I think that was the biggest misstep that I had. Again, I just got a little bit caught up in the running backs and everybody was fading wide receivers. And I was just kind of, I don't know. I just kind of like talked myself out of him, I guess. I was like, I have a lot of shares and does he really have the upside? And then, of course, he comes out in week 18 and just sort of dunks all over me, and that's fine. That was well-deserved. But regardless, at the 8-2, I could have gone with another pick. I just didn't feel like it, and I didn't really want anybody. I didn't want Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle or whatever. So I ended up trading out, and I traded this pick for... what did I trade for? I traded it for a 20... So I traded this 802 and then my 20th round pick, which ended up being Alvin Kamara, for a 2028 first, a 2027 second, and I don't remember, some other pick swap somewhere. Or maybe not a pick swap. Maybe it was just two picks. There was definitely something else involved, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe that's how I moved up from here to here. I don't know. Anyway, I did trade down, and then we come back around here to the 9.11, and at that point, let's see, that was 105, and then it was 106, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is the 202, late ninth round, 202, 204 over here. Then I grabbed Jalen Warren. I just didn't want to have only picks. And again, the running backs were kind of drying up. I would have taken Swift probably over him, but he goes right before me. So I grabbed Warren. And then we go back around again. This was really interesting here, or just funny. We have right here Will Reichard at 10-8 in this spot here. That's the 205. And then we get no rookie picks all the way here. Oh, wait, it's going... Hold on. I'm looking at it backwards. This pick was the 205. And then we get no rookie picks all the way from here, all the way back around. 1 round, 2 round, almost 3 rounds between the 205 and the 206. Then 206 goes, I take 207, I take 209. Keep going around. 211 comes to me here. Then 212 goes, then I take 301, then I take 302. After I take 302, then everybody starts taking the picks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 picks go off the board between 302 and when I'm back up. So I ended up taking Cousins here. I took another pick, and then I took a bunch of random junk once you get to that part of the draft. But yeah, it's a very rookie-heavy draft. So you asked me about the rookie picks. How worried should I be? Look, this is a weaker class. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, but all of these picks are going later than the picks were last year. So it is priced in. I think it is more than priced in. And by the way, the top of the class is not weaker than last year. The top of the class is comparable, and I'm still getting, this is not normal, I don't think, but 101 here at the end of the second, he should have been, easily would take 101 over Caleb, over Pickens, over Jefferson. There was this ridiculousness here, guys. I don't know what to say about this. Harold Fannin and Tucker Kraft going in the first round. I'm surprised nobody's even commented on that yet. There were just some goofy things that happened. I wouldn't say overall that like people were making lots of really bad picks. There were definitely some teams like this one that was treating it very redraft-esque, like didn't take any picks until really late, took a lot of veteran players. This is a team where like you want to go and see, hey, do you want to move your 2028 first? Because like this team is, going to fall apart here in a year. This guy probably had the best draft out of anybody, just in terms of value. Like this guy picked up so many extra picks by trading back. I don't know how he got these deals done. There are some people like Theo, if you're watching, you're one of these wizards in startups that just like convinces people to make extremely lopsided trade downs. And this guy, Riceball 4012 gets these trade downs. I don't understand how he does it. He got like a 27 second to move down from like the 10th round to the late 10th round to the 12th round or something. I don't remember what it was. He got some crazy trade downs. He has like extra picks. He has JSN, Hurts, Dart, Knicks. He's got rookie picks. He's got a bunch of wide receivers. He scooped the value on Zay Flowers. Yeah, just good drafting all around from this guy. But yeah, there's some strong teams. Like, I don't really know. I think the concern for most people would be when you draft a team like this, like, do you really have any hopes of competing in year one? When you look at some of these other teams, you look at, let's see, maybe this one's not that crazy, but like this one here, like this is a really strong team. Obviously, you've got McBride and Achane and Hampton, Olave, Purdy, Prescott. You've got Kittle, you've got Henry. Like, this is a strong team, but it's not an unbeatable team, right? You look around at some of these other guys, like, okay, Allen, Herbert, Amon-Ra, James Cook, Trevion Henderson. This might be one of the better teams in the league. It's going to be hard to compete with that. This guy here has Genty and Taylor. He has Daniels and Lamar. Like, this is a great draft. Kind of weak at wide receiver. So there are strong teams here. There are also a lot of bad teams. This guy had the worst draft by far. We even got into it a little bit in the chat because I was just getting frustrated because he like knows some people in this league, and it's not like it's collusion so much as it's just they know his tendencies, and he kept trading his picks, like trading down, but just not getting nearly enough to trade down. You see here, he traded his 4 picks here. Like, he has some extra first, but he does not have nearly enough value picked up off of those moves to justify them. And then I guess he just sets his queue to just draft 2025 rookies. Like, why are we taking these guys so high? Jalen Noel in the 10th round, Devin Neal in the 11th. Like, there's better players on the board. I really don't know what this guy's deal is. I don't know if he just wants to tank forever. But not a good, just not a good draft, I don't think. And, we'll see. But I'm not getting the 101, so I'm certainly not prematurely deciding to tank. But I have 2 good quarterbacks here. I have potentially a good running back. I still like Travis Hunter. I think he's got upside. So I'm going to get Jeremiah Love. Hopefully he gets off to a good start. Hopefully I snag a good wide receiver here at 102. And then I have a lot of picks to play with, and I'm kind of making a bet that these picks, basically what I'm betting on when I take these picks is that these picks are going to accrue value between now and March or April or whenever, and then if we were to redo the startup, then that all these picks would be going around a round and a half higher, and that I can actually just trade these picks later for guys that were going earlier, right? Maybe I can trade this 206 pick, 207 pick for a Zach Charbonnet later, whatever it is. And that I'm getting these picks at a discount. Eventually I can cash those in and buy some veterans. We'll see how the league responds to that. If I get stuck in a spot where nobody wants to pay for these picks, then I'll eat it for year one. I will draft a bunch of rookies. Some of them are going to hit, and that's fine. I can get the 2027 102, no problem. I have my own pick. I have an extra second. I have an extra first in 2028. So I think it's fine. I don't necessarily think like this is like slam dunk crazy win or anything. We'll see. I think the first 4 picks look great. It's just about whether I can maneuver this value, whether the micro market of this league is going to actually allow me to realize the value here. Because it's easy to look at all these picks and think of how we value picks, or this kind of like our little pure potential echo chamber values picks, and say, yeah, this is great. You have all this value. If this is a league that is just genuinely out on the 2026 class, just like thinks it sucks, it's possible that doesn't change a whole lot. So we'll see. It's definitely a unique year in that sense, or maybe it's not unique. Maybe this is just going to completely blow over. I do think it's likely that the late first round picks are weaker this year than we've seen in the most recent years. Probably similar to 2023. In 2023, that late first round range was like Zach Charbonnet and Kendre Miller and Devon Achane, who obviously worked out, but was like a 3rd round pick, kind of undersized running back. It was just sort of a prayer on a fairly open backfield, and like maybe he can take over. So it wasn't like a super stacked late first that year. And I think this is similar, where you might get a third rounder creeping up there. You might not have a whole lot of, super early premium first round picks to choose from. You're not going to have like a Bo Nix first round quarterback that's just sitting there at the end of the first, but there's still going to be talent, especially at wide receiver, I think. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if anybody else has questions or thoughts about the startup. I did see that. Let's see, who is it that asked? Doc Birdie asked about good and bad startup trades. When is it okay to send a first? How to decide when to trade up or back? What is a good pure pick swap move? Early, mid, late draft. Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. It's super tough to answer these questions out of context. Like, I feel like I almost need to be like in a draft, like doing a draft in order to really conceptualize it. I wish I had saved some of the deals that I made and some of the deals that went down. I think that I'm not really interested in trading a first unless I am getting an extra swing at one of like the truly premium assets. And you can decide where that cutoff would be. For me, it's probably in the probably once you get past like Achane and Herbert and Caleb, I'm probably just not doing it, especially this year because the 2027 first round picks have so much hype behind them. It's just such a clear value gain that you're giving up to make that trade. And if I'm trading a first, like I don't really want to be going much further than I'd want to be able to get up from like the 5th round up to the 2nd round, which is kind of a big ask. I might do it from the 4th. I don't know. Like I don't think in a startup I'm sending like Purdy and a 2027 first to get Herbert, or like Purdy and a 27 first to get Drake London. I don't think I'm doing that, to be honest. I would just rather have my pick and have the flexibility. I feel like there's good enough players in the 4th round with like Nico and Henderson and Purdy and Olave that I would rather just sit. And like I need to be getting from like the 5th or 6th round, which is where I think the weak spot right now. This is such a weird board. It's kind of hard to say. I feel like the 8th round is where things start to kind of get weak. Like getting up from the 8th round up to, and it's kind of flat within the 5th round. Like you look at this 5th round here. I think Garrett Wilson was a good value. Love and Taylor are pretty decent values, but like when you get into this like late 5th round range, I feel like it gets really flat. You have like Goff here at 5-7, and then what's really the difference between Goff and then like Cam Ward the next round, and you have Judkins here in the late 6th, and you still have like Harvey is here and Rome is here and Flowers goes all the way later. So like I feel like in the 5th round you're just picking at the top of a tier where there's a good chance someone's going to fall to you later. So the 5th round might be a spot to trade up or down. But it's also so dependent on what your league is prioritizing and what types of players are getting pushed up. Like, are they reaching on quarterbacks or running backs, or are they fading the rookie picks? You trade out, like if you trade out of the middle of the 5th round, but then this 104 pick falls to you, it's like, that feels like pretty good value there. So I don't know if I can really prescribe one type of move, but I do think if you're going to see a teardrop and you're in a
relatively sharp room, the 5th round's probably going to be, the late 5th is probably going to be a weak spot. I think the 8th round is a pretty weak spot. And then the 8th and the 9th round are kind of flat. So I'd rather be drafting in the 9th than the 8th if I can pick up value and get somebody like Devonta Smith is here and Jaden Higgins, and like late first rounders are here. I don't think it's that different from what you're getting in the 8th. Let's see. When to trade up or back. So I'm not opposed to trading up, especially if it just involves pick swaps. I'm not just like a trade down at all costs type of person. I think you should, if you see a player you think is falling and you think they're getting to a point where it's like, this is a really good value, even if I have to pay a little to trade up, I'm still getting a good value. I think you should at least ask about it, because sometimes you get these trade ups and they're actually like super cheap. Like I didn't have to give up much at all to go up here and get Harvey. I gave up my 7-11 pick and then like a future third, and I think I moved back like 8 spots later. Like it wasn't much. I'm fine moving thirds or like rookie 3rd round picks, rookie 4th round picks. I'll move like late round picks straight up. Some people just want them, like a 20th round pick or a 19th round pick. Those are mostly worthless anyway. So yeah, I'm not opposed to a little bit of trading up. As far as trading down, I think trading down is almost always a good idea if you can do it, because it gives people the chance to make mistakes in front of you. And, you know, just picking up those rookie picks can be so huge for you later. But some rooms are just really cautious about trading up, and it's like you almost end up having to pay to trade down, and then it's just stupid. But like in this room, there were some managers that were having a lot of success trading down and were getting really good returns. I just wasn't having the same luck. But it doesn't hurt to send out offers. Even if you think, honestly, if you're drafting with people you don't know, even if you think it's a bad offer, you might just want to send it anyway. Like if you're like, hey, you know, I'll move back from the 602 to the 610 if you give me a 27 second. Like somebody might take that, especially if there's a player on the board that you think other people might like more than you. It doesn't hurt to, I think just being like really diligent and really kind of pushy and sending lots of offers is going to get you more done for you than you might think. Nico says, I traded up to the 312 to get the 103 from the 408, and then the 104 went at 408. Bro, that sucks. That sucks. What did you have to give up to do that? Oh yeah, I wanted to point out the tight end prices here. Okay. So Bowers, I wish I could just filter for tight ends. So Bowers, McBride. Let's see. Bowers, McBride, and then obviously these picks are just kind of bizarre. Like this guy, I think he has some good teams, and I play in some leagues with him where he's done really well. I genuinely just don't understand what the point of this was. But Fannin and Kraft, that just screwed up the whole tight end market, I think. Again, this is 0.75 tight end premium. Like it's not outlandishly high. Then we go down to the next round. Warren goes 309, a little bit higher than I would take him. Like the 102 was still on the board. So I think that's a pretty aggressive pick. Loveland at 312 definitely felt more aggressive then than it does a week later. Still don't know if I would take him over 103 in 0.75, but I understand the impulse. Then we don't get any tight ends for a while. Then we go Pitts at 606. Seems a little high to me. Laporta at 6'9", Gadsden at 6'11". I was going to take Gadsden if he came back, but he didn't. Of course, the Fan and Kraft guy took him. We get Kittle at 708. I think these are all pretty reasonable. Definitely higher than I would take Pitts. The rest all seem pretty fine. Then is when things start to go kind of crazy. So we get Ferguson at 912. And he's pretty mid. I don't like Ferguson at all. Goddard at 10-6, one of the craziest picks I've seen. He's going to be 30, like almost 32 years old next year. Very touchdown dependent. Wasn't that good after the first like 6 weeks of the season when he was catching all those touchdowns. This is a pretty like crazy low upside pick here. We get Brenton Strange, who I actually did like at that pick. Kincaid, Hawkinson, Chigakonkwo, Elijah Arroyo, Terrence Ferguson, Isaiah Likely, Hunter Henry, Theo Johnson, David Njoku, Gunnar Helm, Mason Taylor. Every time I tried to put a tight end in my queue, they just ended up going like a round higher than I would have taken them. AJ Barner was, I thought, the guy that was going to save me, and he goes 15-10 right before I was going to take him with my pick. He goes, then I put Juwan Johnson in the queue, and then he goes right before my pick. Then I put Dalton Schultz in the queue, and he goes right before my pick. Or not right before my pick, but he goes between my two picks. So at that point, once Dalton Schultz was gone, I was like, all these tight ends suck. There are no good tight ends. Finally, we stopped the bleeding here with Darren Waller at 23-11. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't retire. Oh, I'm on the clock, guys. Who should I pick? Who should I pick? Really, really good options on the board. You can see in my queue, I have Dylan Gabriel. Probably don't need to draft him. Tyrell Shavers, Darius Slayton, Jawar Jordan. I don't know. You guys see anything interesting on the board that you want me to do? I don't know. All these players are pretty tough to look at. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think I could just like close my eyes and pick anybody. It would probably be the same quality of pick once we get this late. Is Gardner Minshew like a thing? Like, is he still going to be the backup next year? What kind of injury did he have? Not an ACL tear, just a knee injury. Since I have Mahomes, maybe I should take Gardner Minshew as my quarterback handcuff. Mitchell Evans, isn't he just like a blocking tight end? Yeah, I mean, why not, right? There you go. Who cares? Need a tight end anyway. All right. I do think, guys, I really do think Kirk Cousins is kind of a sneaky good pick in startups right now. Probably the latest guy you can draft that like is pretty likely to be a starter next year with how thin this quarterback class is. Oh, my last pick. All right, here we go, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and handcuff Patrick Mahomes. Yo, what's up, Yellow? All right, gang. That's that. Thanks for letting me ramble about my startup draft. Nico also said, if you have time, can you talk about buying older vets in the offseason? Henry, Kittle, CMC, Adams, etc. Do you ever indulge in buying, or are you rather taking bets on younger assets? Gadsden versus Kittle, Bucky versus CMC, Adams versus Ricky, or tearing down from an asset who might score similarly to a vet and getting a plus on top. So I think I definitely do buy veteran players in the offseason. Yeah. Generally because you can get a discount. I kind of think the sweet spot for a discount is like waiting a little bit from now, at least if it was a vet that actually performed well late in the season. Like Derrick Henry is not a player you want to trade for right now because people are still like riding high on how well he played to end the season, and you're not getting a discount there. But if you go to a veteran that ended the season poorly, like George Kittle, might be a guy that you can buy right now. It just depends on the league. It depends on how much people are paying attention and whether those veterans are on teams that are maybe looking for a little bit of a reset. So I think you kind of have to know your league market, but whenever you think there's maybe a lull or like a drop in value, if I have a team that's hoping to contend, I do want to be tactically picking out some veterans to take a swing on. Like if you have a really high value team, or like my startup I just did where I have all these picks, eventually I have to turn those picks into players. I have to acquire some guys that can score for me. And I think it's actually better to go ahead and try to shop in the bargain bin of these older veterans, because the price that you're paying relative to the production is way more efficient than the price you're paying for younger players. Like if you're buying Derrick Henry, you're paying entirely for current year production. Whereas if you try to buy like a Jordan Addison or something, you're going to pay just as much, if not more, and you're going to get worse production probably. You know, you're getting a younger asset that can last longer, but you're not getting as efficient a price for the production. So if I have like a super young team with lots of picks, I'm probably more likely to go after the older veterans, at least a couple of them, to fill some starting spots like relatively cheaply, as opposed to trying to take my picks and turn them all into young guys like Bucky Irving or whoever is higher in the rankings, trying to get Lad McConkey or Zay Flowers or whoever. It's just hard to do. You're going to use up all that. You're going to use up all that draft equity trying to get those players. As far as specific ones you mentioned, Gadsden versus Kittle, like I just prefer Gadsden. Like I just think he's more valuable. So I would want a plus to make that swap. Bucky versus CMC, I'm pretty fine if you want to take CMC there, just because we have some uncertainty with Bucky. So it's like, yeah, there's uncertainty with McCaffrey, but like there's also uncertainty with Bucky. So I would be fine just taking the known commodity there. Adams versus Ricky, again, I think I would just rather have Pearsall. Like Adams is 33 years old. And if you look, this is kind of crazy, but you look at Devontae Adams' stat lines for this year, he's really just a touchdown guy this year. Like that's really all he did for you. Let's see. How many games did he play? He played 14 games. He gave you 789 yards. So you're talking 56.4 yards per game. That is the lowest he's had since 2015. So just to be clear here, in a year in which Matt Stafford leads the NFL in passing yards, Devontae Adams puts up his lowest yards per game since his second season in the NFL. I understand that the touchdown stuff is good and like the mind meld is good, and if he's back with Stafford next year, he's going to score touchdowns. I don't think he's a veteran I want to be like chasing up high price wise, because again, he is old. He had a hamstring injury here. We'll see how he does in the playoffs. And he's not like a crazy high volume receiver at this point. With Puka just takes up so much of the offense. So yeah, I'm not anti-Adams or anything. I just think there is some uncertainty there. If you're looking at other veterans to buy right now, I'm honestly just going to pull up Keep Trade Cut, because like I said in the video, I just think it's more accurate right now. Fantasy Calc is really out of whack. Some of the values on there just make no sense to me. Like they don't seem to mirror reality at all. But yeah, looking at Keep Trade Cut, let's see if there's anybody that stands out as a good veteran. I do think Kittle is one of the better options. Cortland Sutton, pretty palatable price right now. Wide receiver 41, 120 overall is not bad. Terry McLaurin's really far down there. Wide receiver 47. Wide receiver 47 for Terry McLaurin, 136 overall. That might be a good shout out. I've been very anti McLaurin during his whole like expensive era, but it might be time to buy in on the cheap for Terry. I think I think Jawan Jennings kind of remains like a steady guy. I don't know for sure what his future is, if he's back with the 49ers or not, but he's a decent player. He's pretty darn cheap. He'll probably get cheaper. And then you get really into the dart throw territory. I will say, if Mike Evans does come back, he's insanely cheap. Mike Evans is wide receiver 60 right now, 164 overall. He's behind like Kyle Williams. He's behind Romeo Dobbs. He would definitely be a good guy to take a shot on, because he's like borderline free. Diggs is the same situation. He's even lower. I think Diggs and Evans both make sense, Chris Godwin too. People have left these guys for dead. I think they're reasonable. And then if you want to go really far down, I think J.K. Dobbins, who I was really upset I got sniped on in the startup, J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard are both reasonable to take a swing on, because I think Pollard could get released, or he could be the lead back again next year, and maybe they get a real coach. Maybe they upgrade the line, and maybe they're actually like a better offense. He could be serviceable. Dobbins is a free agent. He could go and get himself a job somewhere. I know he gets hurt all the time, but like he's pretty cheap down here. Oh yeah, I did want to talk a little bit more about RJ Harvey, because I was digging into some of the numbers and I was not thrilled with what I was seeing. I think I might have to revise my thoughts on Harvey a little bit. He just hasn't been good. He just hasn't been good this year as a rusher. It's weird because if you look at his success rate stuff, he's been one of the more successful running backs this year on zone runs. He's 11th in whatever. What did I do as the qualifiers here? Players that have, so I just filtered for the time that he was the actual starter. So from week 11 on, if you look at guys that had 25 attempts total over that span, he's 11th in success rate on zone runs, 59%. If you look at his man run success rate, it's very low. 45.5% ranks pretty low, or sorry, 48% ranks pretty low in the sample. But for whatever reason, he has twice as many man runs as zone runs. So he's averaging 4.8 yards per carry on zone runs. He's averaging 2.77 yards per carry on man and gap runs. Some of that is short yardage and goal line stuff that's bringing that number down. But overall, I just don't really get why they're using him on so many more man and gap runs when he's clearly better at zone. I just don't know, like, why can't you just change things up a little bit, like fit him a little better? It clearly the offensive line can do it. So that's weird to me. But I do think that I've been maybe a little bit overconfident that what we're seeing from Harvey right now is going to be really close to what his role is. And I hadn't really given a lot of thought to the idea that, like, what if he goes back to more of the early season role? And I don't think it's going to be that extreme where he's getting, 4 to 5 carries a game and some other running back like Dobbins is getting 15. But what if he ends up in more of a 50-50 carry split and then just has like some of the schemed up receiving work? That's just not going to be appealing where I had him ranked previously. So I ended up knocking him down a little bit to the late first round range next to Judkins, 57 overall, just behind the 108 pick, just in front of Gadsden. I just think that there's maybe some volatility here where, like, he was a second round pick in the draft, but he was a very late second round pick. He was like the 60th overall pick. He is an older running back prospect. He's 24. He'll be 25 next year. Again, he hasn't been very effective as a rusher in this lead role. And there are a lot of free agent running backs. Like, what if they sign Tyler Algier in free agency? And what if something worse happens? What if they sign like Kenneth Walker in free agency? Like, there are some ways this could go really poorly. I do think that needs to be factored in. If we just look at free agent running backs, yeah, we've got Najee, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams. Rico Dowdle is another name. Like, Rico Dowdle schematically would fit really well as a complement to Harvey. And again, it would not be good for Harvey if he was to go there. They could just bring back Dobbins. You've also got, well, not a lot. You got Rashad White, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier. Yeah. Like, they're going to sign one of these guys. They're going to sign somebody. They're not just going to have Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Bidet. It's not going to be that. So somebody's coming in. How much of a threat they are to Harvey, I'm not sure, but does need to be factored in. It's going to be fun to try to figure out some of these free agent situations. make some predictions later on in the offseason. So not to say he's like a sell or anything necessarily. I still would be looking into what he costs because I don't know if he's valued that highly. But just something that I came across that gave me a little bit of pause. All right, let's do the playoff bracket, and then we'll get out of here unless anybody else has more questions. So feel free to throw them out there. Austin hooked me up with the link here. Thank you very much. And I will go ahead and try to fill this out based on how I'm currently feeling about these matchups. Wildcard weekend, we'll start here on the AFC side. I think the Texans are going to take out the Steelers. I just think the Steelers are like so fraudulent. I think, unfortunately, the Ravens are genuinely just awful. I really struggle to see how the Steelers are going to move the ball on the Texans. Like, even with DK back, you know, you got Stingley matched up on DK. They have no other wide receivers. They've basically no other good pass catchers other than the running backs. This pass rush is going to be on Rodgers like crazy, and he doesn't want to get hit. I think it's going to be a ton of checkdowns to Gainwell and Warren, and we'll see if that's enough. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Texans are going to take them out in probably a fairly low scoring game, maybe like a 20-14 type of game or something. But yeah, I think Texans take that one. And then I'm going Jaguars over Bills. I was already kind of leaning that way. And then I did read Jacob Sanderson's write-up. It makes a lot of sense where, you know, Jaguars are at home. They're the hot team here. You know, they've been racking up points. And the way the Bills play, their defense is really bad against the run and susceptible to like short passes. And that's what the Jaguars do really well. They run the ball well. They have short guys in the short passing game in Washington and Strange and Myers that can just pick you apart down the field. I think if Lawrence can just avoid making any of those early season, like Trevor Lawrence brain fart mistakes, I do think that they win this game. And I think the Bills are just pretty poorly coached. And I think they're going to try to run the ball, and the Jaguars are actually good against the run and bad against the pass, and that does not work out well for the Bills because they have no pass catchers. So I think it's a bad schematic matchup. Jaguars at home, I think they win. Patriots, I think, are going to beat the Chargers. I love Justin Herbert. I just really struggle to see how he's going to get this done with this offensive line. I think the Patriots can do enough here. Maybe they make it a close game. Maybe we get an overtime game, but I do think the Patriots are going to come out on top. Then we look at these divisional matchups for the AFC, and I'll give it to the Broncos coming off the rest game. They've got the home field advantage. These are very similar teams, like incredible defenses, pretty solid weapons. Like, give a slight nod to the Texans, I guess, on the weapons front because they have Nico, but like not enough of a difference, I think. And Knicks has the mobility. Peyton's, well, I don't know. It's a pretty even matchup, to be honest. So I'm just going to give it to the home team. And then I will go, this one's tough. In Foxborough, Jaguars are going to play in the cold weather. I think I'm going to give this one to the Patriots. I could see this going either way, but I'll go Patriots. I'll keep it boring with the 1 and 2 seed here in the AFC Championship game. And then it comes down to like what I want to happen versus what I think is going to happen. And what I really want to happen is I want Drake May to go in there and I want him to do his thing. And this Denver defense doesn't matter, and going on the road doesn't matter, and they pull it off anyway. Unfortunately, what I think is going to happen is I think the Broncos are going to win in like a super ugly game and go to the Super Bowl. Then I'm going to go over to the NFC side, and obviously the Rams are going to beat the Panthers. Don't even get me started on that ridiculousness. The Eagles are going to beat the 49ers. The line has moved, I think, to like -5.5 for the Eagles. I don't know if that's I don't know if that means that Trent Williams is out. I know he was questionable. If Trent Williams is out, I think Ricky Pearsall might be out. That's going to really hurt. And I think it's just a good matchup for the Eagles where we have a good enough defense, I think, to keep them under control. And it's really great for our offense, who tends to sputter at times, that we get to play against the worst defense in the playoffs. Like, even Jalen Hurts, I think, can get it done against this passing defense or pass defense and pass rush. So I think AJ Brown could have a big game. I think Devonta Smith could have a big game. Could be a high scoring affair with the Eagles coming out on top. Bears Packers could go either way. Could be it's supposed to be like a winter storm potentially. So I think home field advantage, bad weather. Good Bears are a good running team. I'm actually going to give it to the Bears here. I'm going to trust Ben Johnson. I don't really think Matt LaFleur is a good play caller, to be honest. I think he's a good play designer. I don't necessarily think that he like manages the game that well. And I think the Packers could like get stubborn doing something that doesn't work, or they could be trying these deep passes that they like to do. And they don't like do a lot of the short passing game to move the ball. And if it's bad weather, unless Jacobs can really get going, which he hasn't done in a while, I think they're going to have a hard time like sustaining drives. So I could see the Bears winning it. Then we'd have the Eagles traveling to Chicago. Eagles take their revenge for the Black Friday game where they got genuinely like curb stomped by the Bears. I don't know what was going on. Eagles go into Chicago. They take their revenge. They're in the NFC Championship game. Rams get their revenge for the ridiculous 2-point conversion nonsense that happens in that last matchup against the Seahawks. I think Rams, Eagles are the two best teams in the conference. At that point, Eagles are hosting. I'm pretty sure since Nick Sirianni became the coach, the Eagles have never lost a home playoff game. So I'm just going to be a homer for a second. I'm going to say Quinyon Mitchell, locks down Puka Nacua just enough. Eagles get maybe a strip sack on Matthew Stafford. They do just enough. They win again. They seem to have the Rams number in recent seasons. We get a Broncos-Eagles Super Bowl here. And why not? Why not? Eagles go back-to-back. They win the Super Bowl. How many total points scored in the 2025-2026 NFL playoffs? The whole playoffs? That's like crazy. I can't do all that math. That's a crazy crazy tiebreaker there. What's the average points in a game? Like 40 points? Times 13 games would be 520 points. We have some pretty good offenses, but also some pretty bad offenses and good defenses here. So maybe we come in a little bit below that number. If we have bad weather and Bears Packers, that could be low scoring. I'll go 499 points. Sure. Okay. And I'm going to submit my bracket. Totally not biased. Definitely not biased. I mean, it's obviously biased, but it's also like it's not like super unrealistic either. I think all those things could happen. Okay. I'm going to throw in my email here. $12-7. That's a crazy score. It sounds terrible. I don't want to watch 12-7. Oh, I can make a second bracket? Okay, sweet. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this thing up here. I didn't see any other questions come in, so we are done. Hope you all enjoy Wildcard Weekend. I know I will. Go Birds. If your team is not playing the Eagles, then go your team. Sorry, Frielster. And yeah, hope you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later.